Hello and welcome back to the Elsie version. Today we are in chapter 2 of Joel. Alright, verse 1. So far it's all been like prophetic words, so we're just going to start from verse 1. Blow a trumpet in Zion, sound an alarm on my holy mountain. Let all the inhabitants of the land tremble. For the day of the Lord is coming, it is near. A day of darkness and gloom, a day of clouds and thick darkness. Like blackness, there is spread upon the mountains a great and powerful people. Their like has never been before. Got the hiccups. Nor will be again after them through the years of all generations. Fire devours before them, and behind them a flame burns. The land is like the Garden of Eden before them, but behind them a desolate wilderness, and nothing escapes them. All right, so the day of the Lord, that's what's saying here. And then there's all this blackness, and this type of people has never been seen before, never will. And it's like Eden before them and desolation behind them. All right, verse 4. Their appearance is like the appearance of horses, and like war horses they run. As with the rumbling of chariots, they leap on the tops of the mountains. Like the crackling of a flame of fire devouring the stubble, like a powerful army drawn up for battle. Before them peoples are in anguish. All faces grow pale. Like warriors they charge, like soldiers they scale the wall. They march each on his way. They do not swerve from their paths. They do not jostle one another. Each marches in his path. They burst through the weapons and are not halted. All right, so far it's kind of a crazy picture. Definitely making me think kind of Revelation sort of stuff. But we got these people, their appearance is like horses, and they leave desolation behind them, I guess. Yeah. So they just plow through people. So, all right, verse 9. They leap upon the city, they run upon the walls. They climb up into the houses, they enter through the windows like a thief. The earth quakes before them, the heavens tremble, the sun and the moon are darkened, and the stars withdraw their shining. This is definitely Revelation kind of stuff. We just read Revelation, so it should be on the front of your mind. The earth quakes before them. Okay, we already read it. Verse 11. The Lord utters his voice before his army, for his camp is exceedingly great. He who executes his word is powerful. For the day of the Lord is great and very awesome. Who can endure it? So far what they've described is the day of the Lord. All right, verse 12. Yet even now, declares the Lord, return to me with all your heart, with fasting, with weeping, and with mourning, and rend your hearts and not your garments. Return to the Lord your God, for he is gracious and merciful, slow to anger and abounding in steadfast love. That's good. And he relents over disaster. Who knows whether he will not turn and relent and leave a blessing behind him, a grain offering, a drink offering for the Lord. Blow the trumpet in Zion, consecrate a fast, call a solemn assembly, gather the people, consecrate the congregation, assemble the elders, gather the children, even nursing infants. Let the bridegroom leave his room, and the bride her chamber. Between the vestibule and the altar, let the priests, the ministers of the Lord, weep and say, spare your people, O Lord, and make not your heritage a reproach, a byword among the nations. Why should they say among the peoples, where is their God? Okay, so we have this awesome scene at the beginning of the chapter, which is the Lord returning, like coming down the day of the Lord. Frightening, okay? Then you have the Lord saying, return to me. Everybody get involved and be upset about this. Like, everybody needs to be involved in this. And then it says, Lord, don't let your people be a reproach to you. Verse 18. Then the Lord became jealous for his land and had pity on his people. The Lord answered and said to his people, behold, I am sending to you grain, wine, and oil, and you will be satisfied. And I will no more make you a reproach among the nations. I will remove the northerner far from you and drive him into a parched and desolate land. His vanguard into the eastern sea, and his rear guard into the western sea. The stench and foul smell of him will rise, for he has done great things. This is a long chapter, so buckle in. Fear not, O land, be glad and rejoice, for the Lord has done great things. Fear not, you beasts of the field, for the pastures of the wilderness are green. The trees bear its fruit, and the fig tree and vine give their full yield. Be glad, O children of Zion, and rejoice in the Lord your God, for he has given the early rain for your vindication. He has poured down for you abundant rain, the early and the latter rain as before. The threshing floor shall be full of grain, the vats shall overflow with wine and oil. I will restore to you the years that the swarming locust has eaten, the hopper, the destroyer, and the cutter, my great army which I sent among you. Okay, so that's first chapter. He talks about destroying people with the locust, okay? So now the Lord is saying that he is going to return and he's going to restore all the years that the locusts have eaten. Verse 26, you shall eat in plenty and be satisfied, and praise the name of the Lord your God, who has dealt wondrously with you. And my people shall never again be put to shame. You shall know that I am in the midst of Israel, and that I am the Lord your God, and there is no one else. And my people shall never again be put to shame. Verse 28, and it shall come to pass afterward that I will pour out my spirit on all flesh. Your sons and your daughters shall prophesy, your old men shall dream dreams, and your young men shall see visions. Even on the male and female servants in those days I will pour out my spirit. And I will show wonders in the heavens and on the earth, blood and fire and columns of smoke. The sun shall be turned to darkness and the moon to blood before the great and awesome day of the Lord comes. And it shall come to pass that everyone who calls on the name of the Lord shall be saved. For in Mount Zion and in Jerusalem there shall be those who escape, as the Lord has said, and among the survivors shall be those whom the Lord calls. Okay. There's a lot here. We have the crazy day of the Lord returning. Then he says, return to me. And then he's like, I will restore everything that the locusts have eaten. And then he's like, and before I return, he's going to pour out his spirit. And it shall come to pass afterward. But then it also says, after he returns, some of the phrasing is a little confusing, because then it says, before the great and awesome day of the Lord, these things will also happen, which points back to Revelation. That's chapter, verse 30 that I'm talking about right here. But some keynotes. Your sons and your daughters shall prophesy, your old men shall dream dreams, and your young men shall see visions. The Lord will pour out his spirit, and this is what's going to be taking place, right? We see this nowadays. It has not ended. It ends when Jesus comes back, because why would we need prophetic words and his spirit pouring out of us when he comes back? And the other thing is, everyone who calls on the name of the Lord shall be saved. And among the survivors shall be those whom the Lord calls. So the Lord, everybody who calls on the Lord will be saved, and the survivors are people that the Lord has called. So that is chapter 2. There's a lot there, but it's beautiful, right? There's a lot of imagery. There's a lot of promises, but there's also a lot of like heads up, this is what's going to happen stuff. So yeah, that's it for today. Scholars don't really know where Joel is set up in the Bible, like in historical context, but it is canonically correct, because if you look at the writings and the things it's saying, it backs up the rest of the Bible, right? It goes with it. So that's it for today, and I will see you tomorrow.